Yo, what is up? So in this tutorial, we're going to be adding in the ability to use some batteries. So I have two different batteries, and two different use cases for batteries. So the first one is, let me just kind of drain some of this battery first. So we got some of our battery drained there. The first one we're going to be doing is where you could just run over a battery and it'll fill your charge. The second one is I have a battery here. I'll drain some here, and if you look at the top left, we have a text on the HUD that says batteries with a 0 next to it. And then if we run over this one, we run over it and it adds a battery, and we can use an input to use the battery, and it'll fill some of our charge, and we can go back to using our flashlight. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in this one. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to bring in the flashlight model, and or not the flashlight, but the battery model, and then we'll add the material and stuff to it. So first I'm going to go into my first person folder, and then we're going to right click and we're going to make a new folder called models. And then in here we'll just open that up. I'm going to make a new folder called battery. Then we'll open this guy up, and then I'm just going to find my battery. So I'm gonna share the files so you can get the battery. I'm gonna leave a link in the description so that you can get the battery and such if you want it. So here's the battery. I'm gonna pull it in, just import that guy, and you can see we have a battery, but now we need the material to it. So I'm gonna go find my textures. And into these textures here, I'm going to pull these guys in. And now we need to make a material. So we're going to right click. We're going to go up here to material. We're going to make a material. We're going to name this M_battery. And we're going to open this guy up. And I'm just going to shrink this down a bit. And I'm going to highlight all of these textures here, and I'm just going to pull them in. And I'll just organize these a bit. Alright, so if you notice these textures, I made these textures in Substance Painter, and I have a preset for some packed maps. So that's what these two textures are here, if you're looking at these and are kind of confused about how they look. So this orangish looking one is an MSE, so that's metallic, specular, and emissive. And this one right here is an ARH, which is basically an ORD. If you use Megascans, you can get some. You'll get like an ORD. It's basically the same thing. I just name it a little bit differently. So yeah, we're just gonna hook this stuff up. So the RGB of our base color will go into base color, and this one, the MSE. The R is the metallic, so we're going to plug this into the metallic. The S is specular, so we're going to plug this into the specular. And the B is emissive, and we'll plug that into emissive. We're not going to have an emissive, but still. And then this one right here, ARH, the A is ambient occlusion, so we'll plug that one into ambient occlusion. The R is roughness. We'll plug that into roughness. And the H is displacement, which is basically a height map. We don't really need that one, so we're not going to do anything with that. And then right here, we have our normal map. So we're just going to plug the RGB into our normal. And then we will apply and save. And then we're going to close that down, and we're going to right click on this guy, and we're going to create a material instance. And we're just going to pull that material instance in here on our battery. Throw that in there. And now we have our battery, if I can get to it. Yeah, now we have a battery. I'm going to enable nanite. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. Got a nice little battery. And we can move on. That's all we need to do for that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is here. I'm going to pull in a light. I'm going to pull in a point light in here so we can kind of place our batteries in a place where we can find them, even if our flashlight is off. So I'm just gonna move this guy up here. That works. Alright, so next we're gonna go into our blueprints folder, our first person blueprints folder, and I'm gonna make a new folder in here called items. And in here I'm gonna make a blueprint class. Oh, whoops, not a level. Let me delete that. A blueprint class actor. We're gonna make it an actor, and this is gonna be BP underscore battery instant charge. So the first one we're gonna do is the one where you just run over it and it'll instantly charge your flashlight charge, your batteries. So first thing we're gonna do in here is we're gonna go up here to the add. We're gonna get a static mesh, and we'll just name it battery. And we'll come over here to the mesh over here and just search for a battery. And here we go. We have a battery. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click up here. We're going to go back up to the add, and we're going to look for a sphere. We need a sphere collision so that it can trace when we run over it. So that's what we're going to do there. And then next, we're going to go in here to the event graph. We're going to delete the overlap in the event tick. And then on begin play, we're going to cast to first person character. So we can get our info from the character. And we're going to get player character for the object. And we're just going to promote this to a variable called player ref. And now we're going to click on our sphere collision here. We're going to right click on this. And we're going to go down to add event. We want add on component begin overlap. So we got this. And now we're going to pull in our player ref. And on the other actor of our event here, overlap event, we're going to type in equal. So we want to see if the other actor that is overlapping this is equal to the player character, or player ref here. And then we're gonna, we need a branch, so press B and click. And we'll hook this guy in. And if it is our player character, we want to grab in the player ref again. And we're going to get flashlight charge. So get flashlight charge. And we're going to add. So pull off and add. And you can put whatever number, however much you want to add to your battery. But for me, I'm just going to do a random float in range. And I'm going to make it anywhere between 50 and 100. And then we'll pull off of our player ref again, and we're going to set flashlight charge. Plug this guy into the true of the branch. And before we hook up our add, we want to clamp it so we don't go above our max charge. So clamp float, plug this guy in. I'm going to duplicate the player ref here, and I'm just going to get the max flashlight charge. And we're going to set this as our max right here. And then what we want to do is I'm going to pull in the player ref again. And I'm going to pull up our our update flashlight charge, our event dispatcher that we made. So we're going to call update flashlight charge. We're just going to call it here so that it will fire off that event that we have in our HUD. So we update it, and then we're just going to destroy actor. So the battery will destroy when we run over it. So compile and save, and let's test that one out. We need to pull our battery in. I'm gonna scale it up a bit. So I'm gonna hit the little lock right here on the scale, and I'm just gonna make it like a 5. Make it like that. That way we can easily see it. So we'll drain some of our battery here. and we'll go run into this battery. Oh, yeah. There is another bug that I forgot about. So before I show you this, so something I noticed was if you use your flashlight and you turn it back off, we forgot to set something pretty important. So let's go fix that real quick, and then we'll continue on. Go into your first person character. So when you turn your flashlight off, we never cleared our timer, so we're still draining our battery when we turn our flashlight off. So we need to just copy our clear and invalidate timer by handle right here. So we'll plug that in. Little sidetrack there, but yeah, we need to fix that. And that should fix that issue. So if we use it now and turn it off, it stops and we don't just keep draining battery. Alright, so now if I run over this battery, you can see it updated our progress bar, and it's now full. And just to test again, we'll let it run all the way down, let it completely drain, and then we'll run over it and we'll be able to use the flashlight again after it turns off. So it turned off, we can't use the flashlight, we run over it, we have charge, we can use the flashlight. And that's it for that one. So the next one we're gonna do is adding in a version where you can pick up batteries and you can use them. So what we're gonna do for that, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our first person blueprints. We should have a folder for our widgets. Let's make a folder for widgets. It doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna make a folder for it. Throw that guy in there. And in our HUD here, I'm just gonna make a little area here that indicates how many batteries we have. So I'm gonna go up into the search and I'm gonna look for a size box. And I'm gonna pull this on the canvas panel. And I will size this to, let's say 400? Say 500. And I'm gonna position this down a little bit, and then on the Y, I'll size this to say 300. And then I'm gonna look for a vertical box, and I'm gonna pull this and put it on the size box. And then what I'm gonna do is we need a text, and I'm gonna pull this text onto the vertical box, and I'm gonna set this to fill. Let's actually center a line horizontally. We'll do that now. So in the text, we're just gonna make this say batteries, and I am going to go to the font drop down here and outline settings. I'm gonna give it an outline setting of 1, and then we need to rename this to batteries text. So just rename that guy. And then I'm just gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna rename this to batteries held amount text. And then in the text, we're just gonna put 0 because we don't have any to begin with. And we can probably bring our size box down a bit. So I'm just gonna resize this to about here. Same with the X, probably doesn't need to be that wide. So yeah, now we have this. So while we're in here, I'm gonna go ahead and update our the number of batteries we have held. So for that, we're gonna make a function called update batteries held. And compile and save. We can't do anything in here yet because we need to go back to our first person character, and we need to actually add a variable that indicates how many batteries we have. So I'm going to add a variable. We're going to call this batteries held. And this is going to be an integer, so a whole number. It'll indicate how many we have If you want your character to have some from start, you could just change this value here. Set it to wherever you want. I'm going to start mine with none. So now we're going to go back to our HUD here. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our player ref and we're going to get batteries held. And we need to set the text of our number text. So we didn't make that a variable, which is something we need to do. So this batteries held amount text, just come up here and tick the is variable. That way we can change its value. So we'll pull this guy in over here. Batteries held amount text, and we're gonna set text. So we'll plug that guy in right there. And we'll just plug our batteries held integer into this, and it will, you know, turn it into a text. So that should work, but we need to pull this in on begin play. So set, or we'll not update batteries held. We'll call this set batteries held. And we will plug that guy in right there. So the reason we're doing it this way is, like, say later on you're making a save system or something like that. You don't want to just set it to a specific text. You would probably want it to be set to however many batteries you know, had whenever you saved the game or quit the game, you know. So yeah, that's why we're doing it that way. Alright, so next we need to make our blueprint for what we want to do whenever we, you know, pick up a battery that we want to use. So we'll go into our blueprints folder, items, and we're just going to duplicate this one that we already have, and we're just going to call this one battery pickup. And I'm going to open up this guy, and we can keep a lot of this. We just want to change, we don't need this event dispatcher here. We don't need any of this, but we will pull our player ref in, and we're gonna find our batteries held, get batteries held, and we're gonna add. So pull off that, and we're gonna add, and we're gonna add 1. So we'll pick up 1 battery, and then we are going to set batteries held. So you can clamp this to a certain amount if you want to, but I'm gonna, sure, we'll clamp it just for the hell of it. So let's say you only want your character to be able to hold a max of 10 batteries. We'll just set that at the max. So then we'll plug this into the true. And then what we want to do is we need a new event dispatcher that we can call to update our HUD. So we'll go into the first person character here. We'll go down to the event dispatchers, and we're going to add a new one. We're going to call this one update batteries held. And we'll just compile and save there. Then we'll come back to our battery pickup blueprint and pull in our player ref. And we're going to call update batteries. Call update batteries held right here. We're just going to call that guy right there and plug that guy in. And we will check that is working real quick. So we're going to pull in our battery pickup here. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to scale it up a bit again so we can see it. So right now, if you look in the top left, we have 0 batteries. Oh, actually, we're not ready for that part yet. Let's go back into our HUD because we need to update that. So I'm just going to comment our previous event here. There's going to be update. If you don't know how to comment, you can just highlight it and press C on your keyboard, and it'll put a comment around it. So I'm gonna update flashlight, or update, yeah, update flashlight charge. So next thing we want to do is pull in our player ref, and we're gonna call update batteries held. We're gonna bind event to update batteries held right here. So pretty similar to what we did here, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently. I'm gonna copy this custom event, paste it over here, plug it into the bind, and we're just gonna call this update batteries held. And same thing, I'm gonna copy this down here because we need another event for right here, and I'm just gonna copy the name as well and paste the name, and I'm just gonna add bind to it. So what we want to do here is we just want to set batteries held. We can just use our function that we already made, and that one will be easy. So now we need to call this custom event on begin play. So update batteries held right here. Update batteries held right there. Compile, save. We can go ahead and make a comment around this, so highlight it, press C on your keyboard, and we're going to call this update batteries held. Cool. Alright, so now we can test and see that it's working. So let's check that real quick. So right now, you can see we have 0 batteries, and if I run over it, we picked one up, but we still don't have the ability to use the battery that we've picked up. So that's what we need to do next. So to do that, we're going to go into our first person folder, input, actions, and we're just going to duplicate our input action flashlight here. So right click that, duplicate it, and we're going to call this input action use battery. And then we'll hit the back arrow and go into the IMC defaults. And we're going to add a mapping here. And the mapping we want to add is input action use battery. And we'll hit this drop down here, hit the keyboard, and you can choose whatever input you want, whatever keyboard button you want. I'm just going to use the E key. So hit that, save, and we can close this guy. We don't need it anymore. So now we'll go back into our first person character, and we will call our use battery, input action use battery, and we will use the battery if, let's get our batteries held. If our batteries held is greater than 0, now we need a branch, so press B on your keyboard and click. So if we have a battery, pretty much, then we can use a battery. So if it is greater than 0, then what we want to do is grab our flashlight charge, and we want to add. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to add a random amount. So random float and range, and I will do 50 and 100. And then we want to set our flashlight charge, and we definitely want to clamp this one so we don't go above 100. So pull off this guy, we're going to clamp float, and our min will be 0, our max will be max flashlight charge here. And then we'll plug that guy in, and we'll plug this into the true. So we're gonna charge our battery if we have a battery. And we're gonna charge it by a random amount. So next thing we want to do is we want to get our batteries held, and we want to remove how many batteries we have held. So we're gonna grab this, we're gonna subtract 1, and then we're going to set batteries held, and we're going to clamp this, clamp integer, minimum to be 0, max will be whatever you set your max to be. So I had mine set at 10, so I'll set that to 10. And then we'll plug this guy in. And then what we want to do is we need to update batteries held. So pull your event dispatcher in. We're going to call that guy. So update batteries held. And we also need to update our flashlight charge. So call that one as well. And that should be it. Let's I'm going to go ahead and comment these. So this one is going to be our use flashlight. Use flashlight. I'm going to go ahead and comment this one as well. So highlight it, press C. This one's going to be use battery. And let's test it out real quick, see if it's working. So if I let my flashlight drain down a bit, and then I come over here and I pick up a battery, and I press the E key to use a battery, you can see it charged it up, and it also updated that we now do not have any batteries. But we can use our flashlight again. And there was something that was an issue when I was testing this. Let me check this real quick. So if we let our battery drain all the way down... Oh, actually... Yeah, if we let our battery drain all the way down, there's a bit of a bug here. So we're going to change how we use our flashlight a bit. So if we let it drain all the way down and we press E and use the battery, and now if we click to turn the flashlight back on, it doesn't turn on. We have to click it again to turn it on. And the reason for that is because we have a flip-flop. We no longer need this flip-flop. So what's happening is the battery is draining, so the flashlight is turning off. But then you're using a battery to charge your flashlight. But now when you click, it's flipping to the B option, which is turning the flashlight off. So now we no longer need this flip-flop, so we're just going to get rid of this. And we're going to grab in our flashlight on boolean. And we're going to check if it's on or not, because we're setting these booleans that tells us if the flashlight is already on or not. So we're just going to check that. So we'll plug that into the branch, plug this into started. So if the flashlight is not on, then we want to turn it on. So pull off the false, plug it into this guy. And if the flashlight is on, we want to turn it off. So that should fix that bug. So let's just test that real quick. So if I let my battery drain all the way down, pick up a battery, we'll let it drain all the way down, and we'll use a battery, and we should be able to just click it once. And let's see. So if I use a battery, we have a charge, and now if I click once, it turns on. So yeah, that fixes that bug. We have two different options for using batteries, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this one. I also think it's gonna be the end of this flashlight series. If any of you guys have any ideas that you would like to see with the flashlight, then let me know those down in the comments. But I can't really think of much else that needs to be done. But yeah. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know those down in the comments. Also, if you have any recommendations for things you would like for me to make some tutorials on, anything like that, leave me some comments down in the comments section. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.